Africa is more than just a continent. It is the very cradle of humanity. It's the place where the earliest humans took their first steps, where some of the greatest civilizations rose and thrived, and where kings once ruled with wealth so immense it shook economies across continents. Long before Europe's castles, before the rise of Asia's great empires, Africa was already laying the foundations of knowledge, science, architecture, and culture that continue to influence our world today. But much of this history has been buried under layers of colonization, misrepresentation, and neglect. For centuries, the story of Africa was told through the eyes of outsiders, often distorting its true legacy. Yet when we peel back those layers, we uncover a rich, vibrant, and astonishing history, one that doesn't just belong to Africans, but to humanity as a whole. Today, we're about to journey through 50 mind-blowing facts that will leave you speechless. From the world's oldest civilizations to empires of unimaginable wealth. From innovations that shaped the globe to battles that defied the odds. You're about to discover a side of Africa you've never seen before. Let's dive straight into fact number 1. Fact number 1. The earliest human fossils ever discovered were found in Ethiopia, dating back more than 3 million years. Known as Lucy, this fossilized skeleton gave scientists undeniable proof that Africa is the birthplace of humankind. Imagine that. The entire human family tree, no matter where you are in the world today, traces its roots back to Africa. It's not just a continent, it's where our story as a species begins. Fact number 2. The ancient Egyptian civilization lasted for over 3,000 years, making it one of the longest-running civilizations in history. To put that in perspective, that's longer than the entire history of modern Europe. Egypt wasn't just about pyramids. It was about innovation in science, medicine, architecture, and governance that influenced the world for millennia. How many civilizations can claim to have lasted that long? Fact number 3. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing today. Built over 4,500 years ago, it continues to tower over the desert, defying time and even earthquakes. What's even more incredible is that we still don't fully understand how it was constructed with such precision. Could a structure built today last even half as long? Fact number 4. In Mali, the city of Timbuktu once stood as one of the greatest centers of knowledge in the medieval world. Its libraries housed more than 700,000 manuscripts, covering topics from astronomy to medicine to law. At a time when much of Europe was still emerging from the Dark Ages, scholars in Timbuktu were writing, teaching, and debating ideas that shaped cultures across continents. Doesn't that flip the history books on their head? Fact number 5. Mansa Musa, the emperor of Mali in the 14th century, is considered the richest man in recorded history. On his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca, he carried so much gold that when he stopped in Cairo, he spent so freely that he caused inflation lasting more than 10 years. Think about it. No billionaire today has ever had that kind of impact on a global economy.
Fact number 6. The Kingdom of Kush, located in Nubia, modern-day Sudan, was once powerful enough to conquer and rule Egypt. Its kings became known as the 25th dynasty of Egypt, remembered as the Black Pharaohs. For nearly a century, they ruled with strength and left their mark on Egyptian culture. Imagine, a kingdom often overlooked today once stood tall over one of the greatest civilizations in history. Fact number 7. Carthage, located in modern-day Tunisia, was once Rome's fiercest rival. It was home to Hannibal Barca, one of the greatest military strategists of all time, who marched an army, including war elephants, over the Alps to challenge Rome itself. The Punic Wars between Rome and Carthage reshaped the entire Mediterranean world. Carthage may have fallen, but its legend still echoes in history. Fact number 8. Queen Aminirenas of Kush was a warrior queen who stood up to the mighty Roman Empire. In the 1st century BC, she led her armies against Rome and even negotiated peace on equal terms after years of war. Few rulers in history could claim to stare down Rome and walk away undefeated. How's that for power? Fact number 9. Ethiopia stands out as one of the only African nations never fully colonized. When European powers scrambled to carve up the continent in the 19th century, Ethiopia, under Emperor Menelik II, defeated Italy at the famous Battle of Adwa in 1896. This wasn't just a victory, it became a symbol of African resistance and pride that inspired generations to come. Fact number 10. The Great Zimbabwe ruins remain one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring sights in Africa. Rising out of the savannah are massive stone walls, towers, and enclosures built without mortar, some standing over 30 feet high. This city was once the center of a powerful empire that controlled trade in gold and ivory across southern Africa. Even today, historians are still piecing together its incredible story. Fact number 11. Ancient Egyptians weren't just builders, they were pioneering doctors. They performed some of the earliest recorded surgeries, practiced dentistry, and even had written medical texts describing treatments and procedures. Their knowledge was so advanced that it influenced Greek and Roman medicine centuries later. Can you imagine being treated by a surgeon 3,000 years ago and walking away healed? Fact number 12. The world's oldest known mathematical tool was found in Africa. Discovered in Swaziland, the Lubombo bone is a baboon's fibula with 29 distinct notches carved into it, believed to be over 35,000 years old. This tiny artifact shows that mathematical thinking and record-keeping began in Africa long before many civilizations even existed. Morocco is home to the University of Al-Qarawiyyin, founded in 859 AD by a woman named Fatima al-Fihri. It is recognized by UNESCO and Guinness World Records as the oldest continuously operating university in the world. Long before Oxford or Harvard, African students were learning advanced mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy right here.
Fact 14. The Swahili coast was once a global hub of trade, linking Africa with Arabia, India, and even China. Cities like Kilwa and Mombasa thrived as merchants exchanged gold, ivory, spices, and fabrics. This wasn't a backwater. It was a cosmopolitan world of bustling ports, cultural exchange, and incredible wealth. Doesn't that challenge the old narrative of Africa being isolated? Fact 15. In 1967, South Africa became the site of the world's first successful human heart transplant. Dr. Christian Bernard performed the groundbreaking surgery in Cape Town, changing the future of medicine forever. Who would have thought that Africa would be the stage for one of the most important medical milestones in modern history? Fact 16. The Moors of North Africa ruled parts of Spain for nearly 800 years, leaving an unforgettable legacy in architecture, science, and culture. Cities like Córdoba and Granada flourished under their influence, with libraries, universities, and palaces that outshone much of medieval Europe. If you've ever admired Spain's Alhambra Palace, you've seen the beauty of Africa's Moorish heritage. Fact 17. Shaka Zulu, one of history's most brilliant military leaders, transformed the Zulu kingdom in the early 19th century. He revolutionized warfare with new tactics, weapons, and strategies that made the Zulu army nearly unstoppable. His reign was short, but his impact was so great that his name still echoes as a symbol of power and innovation. Fact 18. The Yoruba people of West Africa developed one of the most sophisticated political systems before colonialism. With a balance of kingship, councils, and checks on power, they practiced forms of governance that rivaled European systems.
Isn't it fascinating that while the world often imagines Africa as tribal, civilizations like the Yoruba were mastering complex politics centuries ago? Fact 19. Ancient Egyptians invented one of humanity's most important tools, paper. By processing papyrus reeds from the Nile, they created a durable writing material that allowed knowledge to be stored and shared. Without this innovation, much of human history might have been lost. Can you picture a world without books? Fact 20. The Benin bronzes of Nigeria are some of the most stunning metal artworks ever created. These intricate plaques and sculptures decorated the royal palace of Benin for centuries. When Europeans first saw them, they couldn't believe Africans had created such advanced art. But they did. And today, the Benin bronzes remain a symbol of Africa's unmatched creativity. Fact 21. Thousands of years ago, Africans were already smelting iron. In Niger, evidence shows iron production as early as 1500 BC, predating similar developments in Europe and Asia. This mastery of technology transformed societies, enabling better farming tools, stronger weapons, and thriving trade. Africa was never behind. In many cases, it was ahead.
Fact number 22. The Ghana Empire, one of West Africa's earliest great empires, flourished from the 6th to the 13th century. It controlled vast gold mines, so much so that its king was said to own nuggets weighing several pounds. Traders from across the Sahara flocked to Ghana's markets, making it a powerhouse of wealth and influence. Think, a country big enough to control access to gold that would fuel trade for an entire continent. That's Ghana's legacy. Fact number 23. The Dogon people of Mali had astronomical knowledge that stunned modern scientists. For centuries, they spoke of Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, and its invisible companion star, long before telescopes could detect it. How did they know? To this day, some say it's one of the great mysteries of ancient science. Think, people consistently naming a companion star that most others couldn't even see. That shows an uncanny connection to the cosmos. Fact number 24. The kingdom of Axum in Ethiopia was once counted among the 4 great powers of the ancient world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. It controlled vital trade routes across the Red Sea and minted its own coins, proving its sophistication. Axum wasn't just a local kingdom, it was a global player in its time. Think, a kingdom competing with Rome and Persia, clearing a whole continent away from Europe. That shows Africa's power and scale. Fact number 25. Nubia, south of Egypt, was famous for its skilled archers, often called the bowmen of Kush. They were so feared that Egyptians hired them as mercenaries and immortalized them in art. With precision and deadly skill, these warriors became legendary across the ancient world. And can you believe we're only halfway? We've already uncovered the birthplace of humanity, kings with unimaginable riches, and civilizations that lasted longer than most of us can even comprehend. But hold on, because the next half of this journey will take you even deeper. We're talking about African warriors who crushed invading empires, astronomers who charted the heavens without a single telescope, and thriving cities that rivaled anything Europe or Asia had to offer. If the first 25 facts amazed you, the next 25 will completely blow your mind. Fact number 26. Hannibal Barca of Carthage is remembered as one of the greatest military generals in history. Born in North Africa, he led an army, including war elephants, across the Alps to challenge Rome itself. His tactics are still studied in military academies today. Imagine the shock of Roman soldiers watching elephants storm through mountain passes. Hannibal didn't just fight wars, he redefined strategy on a global scale. Fact number 27. In Ethiopia, archaeologists uncovered what is considered the world's oldest known cemetery, dating back over 2,000 years before the pyramids.
Thousands of carefully buried bodies tell us that early Africans honored their dead with rituals long before many other cultures did. Doesn't that challenge the narrative that Africa lagged behind? In truth, it was leading the way in how societies treated life, death, and memory. Fact number 28. Believe it or not, the Sahara Desert was once green and fertile. Thousands of years ago, it was home to lakes, rivers, and thriving communities. Cave paintings across the desert show animals like giraffes and hippopotami grazing where now there's only sand. This means the Sahara wasn't always a barrier. It was once a cradle of life and civilization. Can you imagine a lush Sahara instead of endless dunes?
Fact number 29. The Kingdom of Congo, located in Central Africa, had a sophisticated system of governance with provinces, local rulers, and even diplomatic relations with Europe by the 15th century. It wasn't just a tribal society, it was a centralized state with laws and ambassadors. Congo kings negotiated, traded, and even corresponded with European monarchs on equal terms. This was structured politics at a time when many nations elsewhere were still fragmented. Fact number 30. The Nile River is often called the lifeline of Africa, and for good reason. Stretching over 4,000 miles, it supported agriculture, trade, and entire civilizations along its banks. Ancient Egypt wouldn't have existed without the Nile's predictable floods, which fertilized the soil year after year. What's fascinating is that this river didn't just sustain Egypt, it shaped the entire course of African and world history. Fact number 31. The city of Carthage in modern-day Tunisia was once Rome's greatest rival. Founded by the Phoenicians, it became a powerful trading empire that stretched across the Mediterranean. Its harbors were engineering marvels, capable of docking hundreds of ships at once. Carthage wasn't just wealthy, it was innovative. And at its peak, it threatened the dominance of Rome itself. Imagine how different world history might be if Carthage had won. Fact number 32. Ancient Nubia, located just south of Egypt, was home to the Kingdom of Kush, a civilization with its own pyramids, more than Egypt, in fact. These pyramids, smaller but steeper, still stand in Sudan today. The Kushites even ruled over Egypt for nearly a century, known as the 25th dynasty. So when we talk about pharaohs, we must also remember the African kings from Nubia who wore the crown of Egypt. Fact number 35. The city of Great Zimbabwe was a thriving metropolis between the 11th and 15th centuries. Its massive stone walls, built without mortar, still stand as a testament to advanced African architecture. This city was a hub of trade in gold and ivory, connecting Africa to the Middle East and Asia. Europeans once refused to believe Africans built it, but history has proven otherwise. Great Zimbabwe was African brilliance, plain and simple. Fact number 34. The Dogon people of Mali had an astonishing understanding of astronomy long before telescopes existed. They knew about Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye, and described its orbit with incredible accuracy. How did they know this? Some suggest ancient observation methods, while others whisper of mysteries we can't yet explain. Either way, the Dogon remind us that African knowledge of the stars ran deep. Fact number 35. Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matanga in present-day Angola was one of Africa's fiercest rulers. In the 17th century, she resisted Portuguese colonization with unmatched cunning. She was known for negotiating treaties while sitting on the back of a servant, refusing to accept anything less than equal footing with European envoys. Nzinga's leadership and defiance made her a symbol of resistance and female power in Africa's history. Fact number 36. The ancient city of Axum in Ethiopia was one of the four great powers of the ancient world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. It controlled trade routes across the Red Sea and was among the first great empires to officially adopt Christianity. The Axumite obelisks, massive stone monuments, still rise as symbols of this empire's power and architectural genius. Axum wasn't just powerful, it was global. Fact number 37. The Ashanti Empire in West Africa, in what is now Ghana, built a society so wealthy and organized that even Europeans marveled at it. Gold was so abundant that the region was nicknamed the Gold Coast. The Ashanti also developed a strong military, complex legal systems, and an incredible cultural legacy. Their golden throne remains a symbol of their enduring pride and identity. Fact number 38. In Tanzania, thousands of years ago, the footprints of early humans were preserved in volcanic ash at Laetoli. These footprints, discovered in the 1970s, are over 3.6 million years old. They provide direct evidence of humans walking upright long before we imagined. When you see them, it's like standing in the presence of our ancestors, literally walking through history. Fact number 40. The Swahili coast of East Africa was a major center of trade for centuries, connecting Africa to the Middle East, India, and even China. Cities like Kilwa and Mombasa thrived with bustling markets of ivory, gold, and spices. The Swahili language itself is a blend of African and Arabic, showing how cultures merged through commerce. This wasn't isolation. This was global trade long before globalization was a word.
Fact number 36. The ancient city of Axum in Ethiopia was one of the four great powers of the ancient world, alongside Rome, Persia, and China. It controlled trade routes across the Red Sea and was among the first great empires to officially adopt Christianity. The Axumite obelisks, massive stone monuments, still rise as symbols of this empire's power and architectural genius. Axum wasn't just powerful, it was global. Fact number 37. The Ashanti Empire in West Africa, in what is now Ghana, built a society so wealthy and organized that even Europeans marveled at it. Gold was so abundant that the region was nicknamed the Gold Coast. The Ashanti also developed a strong military, complex legal systems, and an incredible cultural legacy. Their golden throne remains a symbol of their enduring pride and identity. Fact number 38. In Tanzania, thousands of years ago, the footprints of early humans were preserved in volcanic ash at Laetoli. These footprints, discovered in the 1970s, are over 3.6 million years old. They provide direct evidence of humans walking upright long before we imagined. When you see them, it's like standing in the presence of our ancestors, literally walking through history. Fact number 39. The Swahili coast of East Africa was a major center of trade. Fact number 43. The Shona people of southern Africa built advanced irrigation systems to support agriculture centuries ago. Their engineering allowed them to thrive in tough climates, proving African societies were masters of innovation. These systems supported communities and cities long before Europeans arrived. The engineering behind them challenges the idea that African development lagged behind. On the contrary, it was thriving. Fact number 44. Ancient Egyptians were pioneers in medicine. Their medical papyri, like the Edwin Smith papyrus, show detailed surgical techniques, diagnoses, and treatments from thousands of years ago. They treated wounds, set broken bones, and even performed brain surgery. While much of Europe relied on superstition, Egyptians practiced medicine that laid the foundation for modern science. Doesn't that flip the script? Fact number 45. The Tuareg people of the Sahara, often called the Blue People because of their indigo robes, mastered life in one of the harshest environments on Earth. They built trade networks that spanned deserts, moving salt, gold, and goods across thousands of miles. Their resilience and independence made them one of the most influential nomadic groups in African history. Fact number 46. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church is one of the oldest organized Christian churches in the world, tracing its roots back to the 4th century.
Ethiopia wasn't just influenced by Christianity, it became a stronghold for it, preserving traditions and scriptures even through centuries of external pressures. To this day, its rock-hewn churches stand as awe-inspiring symbols of devotion carved directly into the earth. Fact number 47. The Oyo Empire of present-day Nigeria was one of the most powerful West African states in the 17th and 18th centuries. Its cavalry was legendary, allowing it to dominate vast territories. Oyo's system of checks and balances and governance showed a political sophistication that rivaled many European states of the time. This was structured, strategic leadership in full force. Fact number 48. The Zulu kingdom under Shaka Zulu in the early 19th century transformed warfare in southern Africa. Shaka introduced new tactics, disciplined regiments, and the short stabbing spear, which gave his armies an edge in close combat. His reforms turned the Zulu into a formidable military power that reshaped the region. Shaka wasn't just a warrior, he was a revolutionary strategist. Fact number 49. The city of Lalibela in Ethiopia is home to extraordinary rock-hewn churches carved directly into the ground from solid stone in the 12th century. These structures were designed as a new Jerusalem for Christians who couldn't make the pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Even today, they stand as marvels of faith, architecture, and endurance, living proof of Africa's deep spiritual and cultural heritage. Fact number 50. The Great Mosque of Djéné in Mali is the largest mud brick structure in the world. First built in the 13th century and rebuilt in 1907, it remains a masterpiece of Sudano-Sahelian architecture. Every year, the community comes together to replaster its walls, showing not only incredible engineering, but also the power of collective tradition. It's more than a building, it's a living symbol of African ingenuity. From the dawn of humanity to mighty empires of gold, from the world's first universities to fearless queens and legendary warriors, Africa's history is nothing short of breathtaking. We've seen pyramids that defy time, libraries that held the wisdom of centuries, and leaders who changed the world's economy with their wealth and influence. This is not just history, it's a story of resilience, brilliance, and power that has shaped every corner of our world. And here's the thing, we're only halfway. In the next episode, we'll uncover another 50 jaw-dropping facts. We'll explore Africa's fierce resistance to colonization, discover hidden empires lost to time, and reveal modern legacies that continue to shape global culture, politics, and innovation today. If you thought what you heard so far was incredible, trust me, the best is still to come. So don't miss episode 2 because Africa's story is far from over, and the next chapter will leave you even more speechless.